All right. Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Black Bear News. Hopefully, everything is working. Sorry for my lateness on this one, guys. There was something going on. I couldn't actually start the video because there were conflicting loud noises going on. Anyways, greetings. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me on this second stream. A few people were referring me, or Poppy was referring me to Lord You Are a Dumbass channel. I love his handle. I watched a little bit of it in the break. Poppy Davis says Lord Hugh has thoroughly freaked me out today, and I've been freaked for a week. I don't know. I watched his For the Biosphere is here on Rockfin. Hello, For the Biosphere. Hello. Come hang out with me on Rockfin, guys, please. ROKFIN.com. Where all the cool kids are. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's right. Maybe he has a point. I'm not sure. I don't know if he's aware of what Whitney Webb has been talking about. He seems to think, so quickly to summarize, Hugh thinks that there's going to be a military coup. Trump is going to stage a military coup, and that's it. We're going to be under a right-wing fascist dictatorship, which I think I'm giggling a little bit because I think that's what everybody has been saying the entire time that Trump has been in office. That here it comes, the fascist dictator, here he comes. He's just waiting to take the reins of power and take over, and then it'll be totalitarian fascist dictatorship forever and ever. Maybe I don't discount that 100%. I don't totally discount it out of hand. Right now, I'm kind of in the middle of everything, right? I don't really know. First of all, I don't really know what's going on with Trump. I vacillate all the time, all day long between he really is anti-establishment, and it's actually hard to think that. It's hard for me to believe that for long because I don't think you get into the presidency without having some kind of connection, sway, or acceptance from the establishment. So, but anyways, I vacillate between he either is anti-establishment or he's a false flag, or he is put forward by the establishment as a monster, big blow up balloon. Here, everybody's on the street. It's a kind of a horror movie. In order to get this reaction, in order to get everybody freaked out, in order to, crisis, problem, reaction, whatever. That's I really lean towards that. Anyways. And I was also watching his video a little bit, and he was saying, "Oh, it's the right wing, the deep state is all right wing, and there's no left wing deep state, or the left wing deep state is not the problem." And no, I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I actually think the deep state is more in league with the Democrats right now. And I think that it is a bipartisan, the deep state is bipartisan, the military industrial complex. He was talking about that too, and I agree. But I think it's way more bipartisan now. Glenn Greenwald is talking about, just yesterday was saying that it used to be the right wing was the military industrial complex. All the corporations were all right wing. The right wing was beholden to the corporations, and the Democrats were beholden to the union, more beholden to people and the unions and other organizations, right? But now it's bipartisan, and now most of the tech companies and the film companies and Hollywood, and there's a lot of money behind the Democrats, a lot of corporate money behind the Democrats, and also military money behind the Democrats, and big pharma behind the Democrats, and et cetera, it goes on and on. They play both sides now. So this idea that the right wing, the deep state is all right wing, I think is ridiculous. But Robert Araujo, the more the left goes after him, the more furious his supporters become. He dog whistles about freedom of speech. But wait, freedom of speech is not a dog whistle, though. Maybe you're saying he's using that, but it's not a dog whistle. Freedom of speech is an actual thing that is being trampled on all over the place. More from the left than from the right. The right wing is not going out there saying we must silence these people. It's not the right wing that's telling everybody to shut up. It's not the right wing that won't bring Bernie Sanders or Tulsi Gabbard or somebody from the left, the progressive left, onto their television shows in order to give a different side of the opinion. It's CNN, MSNBC, and all the lefty channels that won't bring true anti-establishment voices on because they don't want any dissent. They would bring right-wingers on or conservatives on before they brought Glenn Greenwald on or Max Blumenthal or Aaron Mate. They won't bring those, or Jimmy Dore. They won't bring those people on, but Fox News will bring those people on. Why? It helps their cause, I guess, because they're anti-establishment, liberal establishment or anti-democratic establishment. It helps their cause in that sense, but I see the right being way more about civil liberties and freedom of speech than the left are. The left are totally fine with censoring and telling people to shut the fuck up. So, who's more problematic? I don't know, man. I don't know. Hunter Z says we have 1 week to see this unfold. Raza, there were fine people on no sides. I like it. For the biosphere, the left is all kind of effed up. Yes. Yes. Churro Hikes. So here's a good point. And here's the other point I want to say. And this is one of the points that Hugh brought up in that he was talking about the collaboration between the police and the Trump supporters, apparently. And it looks like they were let into the Capitol, right? And again, I'm going to reiterate. I'm going to go back to what Whitney Webb has been saying in that this is orchestrated. This is something that they have been kind of building up towards and kind of orchestrating and possibly staging. And again, I'm gonna reiterate my point of possible entrapment. Right? You have people going like, yeah, and then you have people opening the gates. Here, come on in. And then they come on in and they start doing stuff, and then you're like, yeah, you guys that's it's seditious, violent coup. You guys open the gates. You can't open the gates for people and then turn around and say like, oh, they're trying to take over our government, right? Like, or they're taking over the Capitol. And again, just because somebody was there with zip ties doesn't mean that, maybe somebody showed up with some wild ideas about what was going to go down. Was all of that coordinated, or you had a few like super crazy people? I don't know. But it's a good point. We've never seen police and military collaborating together as or with protesters before at the behest of the president. I don't know. I will agree though that all the stuff they're doing, trying to impeach Trump and censoring people and taking things down and trying to like quickly like put the lid on the boiling pot is just going to make the pot hotter. It's just going to make the pot hotter, and I think he was saying that too. It's going to make the pot hotter. Realize says they don't need to trick the public to pass anti-protester laws. They do what they want, and they have already passed those laws. Excuse me. And Rich Diana, yes, nationalism is rising during limits to growth. Growth's arrival. YouTube banned Trump too? Wow. Well, yeah, Kuro. So there, you're looking at some videos, and other people that were on the ground there have other takes. Anyways, some people there were taking videos, and they saw very different things happening. I'm just going to quickly say, that 10 months ago when the pandemic started, I said, we're going to look at, just like 9/11, we're going to be looking back on this time, and people are going to be analyzing it and trying to figure out, what's going on, dissecting it, what really happened, what went down, who was in league with whom, right? The way that people analyzed and dissected 9/11 for years after that happened. However, because of YouTube and the efficiency of the internet, it's being analyzed in real time by people like Whitney Webb, Last American Vagabond, Convo Couch, Niko House, Jimmy Dore. This is important because the way things are being locked down as we speak, we may not have the ability to analyze this far into the years ahead as we had with 9/11. Wake up soon, or we will soon be waking up to a literal 1984 situation from which we can't escape. Yeah, Hunter Z, cop killed with fire extinguisher. Nutters mean business, right? That cop was a Trump supporter, apparently, and was also white. So I don't know. Are they anti-establishment? Are they just bringing up the point? Are they super anti-establishment, or are they just super white power, super racist white power people? I was listening to Jamal Thomas. They have a regular guy that calls in, and he's black. He's from Atlanta, or not Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know, somewhere. Said his dad is a Trumper. He's like, my dad's a Trumper, so all this stuff about all these people being racist is kind of ridiculous. But they're using that as the like all these people, all of them, they're all of them, half of America. Oh, it's just all because it's very emotionally triggering for a lot of people, right? It's emotionally triggering. Kiro says, just because the police and military are collaborating with Trump doesn't mean that they are not going to enact draconian laws against freedom of speech to shut down the left. Robert Araujo says a little bit of both. So let's look at. So they are. Let's look at the news. Let's look at the news. Or at least I thought I had the news somewhere. So yeah, congressional lawmakers are like super like, yeah, let's do this. We need to impeach Trump immediately. And it's interesting what people can get done very quickly, right? It's amazing how quickly Congress can act on some things, but not on other things, right? It took like a week or not even 2 weeks for the first stimulus bill. It took 6 months for the next one, longer than 6 months. It's taken 40 years or 50 years, more than that. It's taken like 70 years for Medicare for all, and they still can't get a floor vote for it. They still can't get a floor vote for it. Right? You see how quickly things can get done? If they really want to get them done. But it's been 70 years of people trying to put forward Medicare for all, and we still can't get a floor vote for it. And this is just awesome. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says, if you all were paying attention to the force the vote thing, if you were paying attention to the force the vote thing and what was going on, she says a few reasons why we need to do this impeachment. Sometimes it's to get members on the record so people can't make excuses later. What? Sometimes these votes create real political pressure that force developments. Sometimes we vote for the historical record to let future generations know we did everything we could. And Jimmy Dore retweeted this, just said, ha. This is literally the same thing that Jimmy Dore and so many other people were saying about force the vote. Oh, we can't do it right now. Oh, we can't do it. That would be bad. That would be stupid. That's wrong. We can't do it. It's a dumb move. It's a dumb thing to do. And everybody was saying, yeah, but if you do this, A, you get people on record. You get progressives on record. You get Democrats on record. Oh, they don't want that. They don't want that. You know why? Because they don't want to pass it. They don't want to pass it. They don't want to pass it. They don't want to be forced into a situation where they look like they're going to pass it. Oh, Nicholas Miller, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate you. Kiro Hikes says you really need to go back and watch all the videotape and you're going to see that shit is undeniable. Okay. Gual Mashi says it's been over 100 years for Medicare for all. Look, I'm just saying, you just told a bunch of people, we can't get Medicare for all. Joe Biden says if it comes across my desk, I'm going to veto it during a presidential run. Which that, statement alone, all of the things that Joe Biden said would have just tanked his presidential run, would have made him just completely unfit, not just to take office, but to run for office in any other presidential election. But just because Hitler, Trump/Hitler, Joe Biden is not only perfectly acceptable, but, a darn good man, which he is not. He's not on any level. He said he was going to veto that. And the last, when Hillary Clinton was run, she said, Medicare for all will never come to pass. It'll never come to pass. Because there's too much money in not having it. There's too much money in not having it. There's too much money in not having it. And if you wonder why people are going nuts at the Capitol, if you wonder why there were widespread riots all summer long from all sides, everybody out in the streets, and then you have this going on, you have a deep distrust in the system. The system is rotten. It cannot respond to the needs of the people. Everybody sees through the original CARES Act and the fact that it was a huge transfer of wealth upward and very, very little for the people. You see the response to COVID was completely inept. Again, billionaires getting wealthy in a race to see who can be the biggest billionaire. Large corporations consolidating wealth. Mom and pop shops being put out of business. Small restaurants being, forced to close down, right? But large corporations remain open. With workers on factory floors or on shipping warehouse floors. There is massive, major hypocrisy going on with the response to coronavirus, and with the coverage of what is really going on. Poppy Davis, do you wonder why very little security at the Capitol? I don't know. Do you wonder why there was very little security when 9/11 happened? I mean, think about that story. Some, really kind of like ragtag group of people took over some airplanes with box cutters, and somehow flew planes into buildings. Guys with very, very little knowledge of how to fly a huge jumbo jet. Somehow made precise, flights into buildings. Anyways, the story is ridiculous. The story of 9/11 is ridiculous. Oh, we were off doing military, we were doing war games. We just didn't have any jets around. We didn't scramble any jets. We couldn't, security was super lax. These guys got onto planes with box cutters. The FBI was getting signal intelligence for months before 9/11. But it just happened. Do you understand what I'm saying? We had this huge thing happen 20 years ago, and for some reason, just nothing was in place that day. No security, nothing at all was in place that day. And now we have this happening at the Capitol. Oh, people just were wandering into the Capitol building. The security was very lax. It was very lax. Yes, it was extremely lax. Why? Why was it extremely lax? Why was there was this seeming cooperation between the police and the people coming into the Capitol? To let this thing happen, you could say, so on one side you could say, yeah, they're all in league with Trump and this was all a plan. Or you could say, maybe maybe this is just an entity out there that wants this to happen in order to have the reaction. The reaction is the thing. It's not the thing that happened. It's the reaction. It's the solution. Patriot Act 2.0. Right. Well, Hunter, yeah, you're right. Hunter, exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Is he really? Is he really anti-establishment, or again, is that just signaling to people so that you can seem like you're anti-establishment, right? Using this distrust, deep distrust of the system by the population at large in your favor, or again, in this theater that's happening, in this grand play that's happening, right? Dylan Howard, exactly. Problem, reaction, solution. Exactly. Salt Lakers, problem. But that's the thing is people are really like, focused on the, there is a large segment of the population right now. There's a large segment of people out there that are just like, of course, we knew all along that Trump was we knew this whole thing was, we knew it was all this, and right, let's just remain focused on the Trump and the bad people on that side. Meanwhile, Medicare will never come to pass. Meanwhile, Joe Manchin is going to block those $2,000 checks. Huh? We just won the Senate. Yes. Joe Manchin just comes right out. He's like, nah, I'm not going to pass these checks. So if you get this $2,000 check back into the Senate, I'm not going to pass it. If you get Medicare for all back into the Senate, if you ever take a floor vote, and it gets to the Senate, we're going to block it. Joe Manchin and his blue dog Democrats, they're going to make, or Joe Manchin and the Republicans that he's so friendly with, they're going to block it. I'm just saying. What is really going on? What is really going on? What's really going on is that if you set up the situation where you can start silencing the voices that are the really bad voices, you create a domino effect. Something good from Ajamu Baraka. Do not be confused. Twitter, Google, and Facebook are part of the ideological apparatus of the state and are carrying out the political agenda of the dominant neoliberal rulers. The argument that they are private is the point. Mass control of thought and speech has been privatized. Oh, they're just private companies. That's, they get to do whatever they want. Said the dumb fuck sheep. That's playing into the hands of the people that want to shut you up. That is just like the dumbest argument. Oh, they're just private companies. They can do whatever they want. Let's move on. Something from Glenn Greenwald. Even German Chancellor Angela Merkel blasted Twitter's decision to ban U.S. President Donald Trump. The right to freedom of opinion is of fundamental importance. Stefan Siebert, Merkel's chief spokesman, told reporters in Berlin on Monday. Merkel said it was problematic. Glenn goes on to say what makes Merkel's comments particularly striking, apart from her well-reported acrimony with Trump, is, as Alice from Queens noted, Europe generally, and Germany specifically, have far less permissive free speech traditions than the U.S. Yet even Merkel finds this alarming. A related reminder, during the Snowden reporting in 2013, Merkel called Obama furious when it was revealed that the NSA had spied on her personal calls, and reminded him that she grew up in East Germany and explicitly compared NSA spying to the Stasi. Oh, sounds pretty fascist, right? The Stasi spying, she compared it to the NSA. It sounds pretty fascist. Whoa. But, you know, I thought fascism just started with Trump. So, you know, Parler has been taken down. And what Glenn Greenwald was saying also yesterday is that how long before, so they're taking Parler off servers. So nobody will host Parler anymore. How long before Rockfin or Substack starts ending up, you know, winding up in the targets of the free speech police, right? Substack is where where Glenn Greenwald and Matt Taibbi and a lot of anti-establishment writers and journalists have gone to be able to freely express their opinions, because there is almost nowhere in the public forum now where an anti-establishment voice can be heard, or it's being shut down very, very quickly. Nowhere on the left, anyways. So, yeah, exactly. You know, he made a really great point. So, yeah, first Parler, then, you know, then some other outlets. He said it was only a matter of time. So, lastly, I kind of want to just take you through a couple of videos from Niko House and Fiorello. We're just going to kind of listen to these guys, because Fiorello was in D.C. I'm in front of her, right? I'm sorry about that. Let's see if I can move these. I don't know if this is going to make any difference. Maybe I can just do this. I'll just put myself down here. Oh, is this not working? Sorry, guys. I don't know why. If my Rockfin hasn't been, if none of the things have been working, I apologize. I don't know why. My buttons aren't working for Rockfin. So we'll just go here. Oop, not that one. Nope, not that one. We'll go here. Okay, that was a little annoying, but we'll just go with it. Here we go.
It was already kind of weird what we were getting online that while I was there, right? Mm-hmm. But people don't know that this DC event that everyone is saying is a coup was being discussed and planned, and we had even been like, the police were being kind of prejudicial towards us because of that planned event that they were expecting.
Exactly. So like when we did the force the vote speeches both times, but especially the second day, when we were moving to different locations, the police were like surrounding a group of like 30, 40 protesters. And there were so many of them, and they were ready to arrest us with zip ties. And I just find that so interesting, like in comparison to groups of over hundreds of thousands of people for the Stop the Steal rally, and, you know, mostly Trump supporters, not everybody, but mostly Trump supporters go in there, and you don't have the security, supposedly. You don't have the right preparation, even though the mayor was told, hey, do you want backup? He literally rejected the backup. Like why would we be more of a menace than those people, right? Why would you have more preparation?
In their defense, Fee, y'all did have a big black guy speaking at the event. So in their defense, I'm a little threatening. You know, when you wear floral pants and you have blonde hair, look, look. So there is a lot of like misinformation going on about who was assaulted, who wasn't assaulted, who got into the building, who wasn't, if it was a coup, if the police let them off the hook. And as always, the truth is actually somewhere in the middle. So can you let people know what actually happened that day when you, Pasta, and Johnny were on the ground?
Yeah, so that day, there was two major events. There was one at the Ellipse, which was closer to the White House. It wasn't exactly at the White House. It was a very large park, and there was so many people there. And that was where Trump gave his speech, where he was talking about, you know, how we're not going to give up on the election. But what people don't like let play is the second part where he was talking about peace, and he was saying we have to make sure we go about it peacefully. And he was talking about fake news and how like the elections were fraudulent. He said we won big. All these things he said multiple times before. And people were, you know, really cheering about that. He also talked about the foreign policy aspect and how we were spending too much money. I mean, so I was there. We were filming it and we couldn't go live because there was no signal. The police were scrambling the signal.
Yeah,
exactly. And so we were just videoing it all. And, you know, we're laughing because he says, like, even third world countries have a better election system. And me and Pops were laughing because it's Trump. Trump said that. He said even third world countries have a better election system.
So they were jamming the signal and people weren't able to live stream what was really happening going out. So there is that. And, you know, woe be unto you if you actually call out your own election the elections of the United States and compare them to other countries, disingenuous or not coming from Trump, it's actually true.
And I believe you still have some video of that to post. And like,
hold up, Fifi, double back. This conversation was had that day?
Yes, that
so
day.
They couldn't even live stream Trump's actual speech because of the signal jammers? And because I haven't seen that shit anywhere.
The only people that were able to live stream were people with satellites. Even people who had some of the live views had trouble.
I also think that Fiorella said that you know, Trump was saying be peaceful. He was calling for that. He was like, we're going to walk down to the Capitol, but he was saying be peaceful.
Streaming that day,
but like, I haven't seen his speech anywhere.
Yeah, they're not putting his speech anywhere because his speech. The way it came out, Niko, and you know I'm no fan of Trump, was like he was being pretty honest and he was pretty like, you know, of course he instilled the immigrants and all that at the end, but he literally was talking about how other countries have better elections than we do and how the American people need to trust in their election system and saying things that I was like, shit. This is the truth. They don't want you to hear this. And we were like, holy crap, this is crazy.
That's why they said, this is why they went after him. That's why they went after him.
Right. And so anyway, so we start packing, going, we know the next event is coming up and we wanted to stop by the car because we parked further. So it's about like the actual distance from the actual White House to the Capitol is 2 miles. But keep in mind that we weren't all really by the White House. We were further away because
should I skip breakfast in 2021?
Yeah. Commercial.
Decided to stop at the car and drive there. And all he had said was, we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue to the Capitol. Literally, multiple people have said that multiple times. Multiple leaders have said, we're going to walk from here to here.
Yeah, we said it the day before. Literally the day before. That's what was so funny. I'm like, yeah, we were like, take back your country and walk down to the Capitol for the Force the Vote protest. Like literally, that's what we did.
Exactly.
And
it was already.
And there you go. Right. That's. You know, the messaging is like, oh. He was inciting violence. And she's saying he was not inciting violence. And he was saying, yeah, we're going to go march. Oh, you know, everybody's trying to say like, he was like, wink, wink, wink. We're going to go, you know, we're going to go take some senators hostage. Wink, wink. That's not, you know, he was saying like, be peaceful. And on top of that, somebody said, somebody directed me to a video. I'm sorry, I think it was Guamashi. That whole thing about him having a situation room or having a bunker or what, not having a bunker, but watching the, having a little watch party and watching the storming of the Capitol on TV. That was false. That was actually them watching a video from behind the stage where he made the speech. So that's totally bullshit. Trump was giving. When did he give the go-ahead? He did not. I mean, true, other people were talking about it. True, other people were like talking about planning some stuff, and people were being violent. But Trump wasn't saying like. He was basically saying, people go protest, go to the Capitol and protest. And on top of the fact that I think we covered this as the very first day. Well, here's the other thing. They're saying that they're gonna try to get the congressmen out of office that were trying to overturn the election or trying to defy the election results. Well, that's actually the congressman's right. Congress has the right to question or debate the electoral votes. That's like in the Constitution. Like they have the right to do that. That's not mutinous or treasonous or insurrection. That's something that congressmen have the right to do, to debate whether, to debate and or overturn electoral votes. They have the right to do that. That's not illegal. That's not illegal. Yeah, so wait, hold on, but Trump said fight like 20 times. Yeah, but saying we're going to fight this is not like, just what Niko was saying. Like you have a protest, so we're going to fight for our rights, fight for your rights. It's like, oh, that's inciting violence. So do you understand what you're saying? So now anytime anybody's ever out there, we're going to fight for our rights. You're inciting violence. That's it. We're going to lock you up. This is illegal. This is inciting violence. This is domestic terrorism. Do you understand the sleight of hand? Anyways, Alaric Harrison says the impeachment is just a meaningless distraction. This is all just more distraction as an excuse not to do anything that matters. Indeed, right? How about $2,000 checks? How about Medicare for all? How about et cetera, et cetera? How about, the dude who sent 3/4 of the Capitol Police home that day knowing this was coming? Who indeed? I don't know. Who did that? Anyways, Osama says Snopes says nope. So I'm going to play one more little clip from Fiorella and Niko. Because she was there and she said, this is what we saw going on.
Ample examples. I mean, Tim Canova's race, 10,000 ballots got destroyed by Brenda Snipes, and she didn't get fired until the next time she tried to do that or tried to rig it. And she just happened to rig it when DeSantis was running against Gillum, and they caught her.
So Niko has been covering election fraud, pretty much the whole time he's been broadcasting. And he's had lengthy conversations with Tim Canova, if you guys know who that is, who ran for office in Florida against Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and he was straight up cheated. They have evidence that there was ballot destruction going on, cheating going on. It's a thing.
Like, that's the only reason she got fired. But like, there is plenty of examples to show that election integrity is a major problem. And what it looks like they're trying to do, in my humble opinion, I would like to get your opinion on this, is that they're trying to equate questioning our election system with violence and insurrection.
Exactly.
I feel like we are in the middle of fucking Venezuela right now, or Bolivia.
Exactly, except that most of the left here is right in line with the establishment. And I mean even the left, right? Because we, as I said, we are the only channels besides Ben Swan on RT who has really talked about election fraud from the left. And we are getting so much hate from that. We are getting called fascists, Nazis, and saying we're playing into Trump's little conspiracy theory, even though elections have been challenged for decades now. I mean, you can go back to Bush versus Gore. You can go back to even further than that. You can go back to Bernie Sanders. You can go back to any single time. Elections have always been questioned because we can't look into these machines because we don't have any control over our elections. So why wouldn't you question the election? But exactly, Niko, that was exactly why.
Well, you wouldn't question it if you don't like Trump. You wouldn't question it if you were a Democrat. You wouldn't question it if you were a liberal. Oh, of course it was fine. Of course it was fine.
People to question the elections. And you know what was happening that day was the electoral votes were being counted. And so that a lot of people were angry, but the vast majority of people, when we started walking up into the Capitol, were like, yeah, we're here because I don't believe the elections were fair. And we were just interviewing them. We saw grandmothers, families, babies, kids, like none of that is being shown in the media. Now, everything is being focused on the very top, the people who made it to the top and were allowed in. We're allowed in and told, literally, you have about an hour to go in there and stay. And literally, like they were being led into a museum. That's
what was. I mean, what's that about? You guys go ahead and go in there. You have about an hour. What?
That's how it was. There's fucking video of it. So you can take that two ways. You can say, oh, well, that means that the police and Trump's people were in on it and they wanted them to cause mayhem. But that doesn't make any sense when you look in the grand scheme of things, when you look at who really has a vested interest in making this look like a terror attack,
especially considering
like a coup.
Some people wrote legislation the day before to address it.
Exactly. And it was a draft and whatever. You can say, well, they were considering doing this for a while. It's like, well, first of all, why are they trying to silence voices who are questioning the election? It is their right to question the election. Politicians, especially, they're going to do the will of the people. If the people are questioning the election, the politician has to do what the people are supposed to, like, what the people want. So, number one, that's like unconstitutional, in my opinion, for Cori Bush to be drafting that legislation. Number two, obviously, it's a disappointment. She's already showing where she's at with this.
Yep.
And also
she's been a good little puppet since she's got in, huh?
Oh, 100%. Like, from that, they're trying to push this impeachment, but they were trying to do that before. This gives them the perfect excuse to not only push impeachment, but start the new war on terror, which is a war on domestic terror. Any sort of dissent, any sort of questioning of the government, especially elections, is going to be looked as terrorism.
Yeah.
Again, more sleight of hand.
I know, and you see, I don't know if you saw the legislation that they're introducing. They're trying to do, in both the Senate and the House, they're trying to introduce legislation that would make it, like, any type of MAGA rally, it would be considered domestic terror.
Yeah.
Now, so once again, Bernie people, kind of need y'all to understand exactly what we're dealing with here. Think about it from this perspective. There's going to be a lot of challenging of Joe Biden this election. Obviously, a lot of MAGA people are pissed. But if you, as a Bernie supporter, maybe join up with me as a Tulsi supporter and some independents who may have just got into the political system, and 3 MAGA people show up to the rally and that's all they get on camera, guess what? You are now part of a domestic terror rally. That's what they're telling you. That is what they're doing. This is just, once again, this is history, people. They used the specter of Russia in the 60s and the 70s to spy on the Black Panthers and name them domestic terrorists, to spy on Martin Luther King and make him a domestic terrorist, to assassinate Fred Hampton and call him a domestic terrorist. Like, this is, they're using, Russia didn't work. Honestly, the Russia shit didn't work because not enough people believed it. And obviously Trump's still here.
And yeah. Anyways, I just want to play that little clip for you guys. Hope you all enjoyed that. Go check out that whole video from Niko House and Fiorella Isabel. For the biosphere, you can tell that Fiorella believes what she's saying with all of her heart. Yes. Yes. Nicholas Biller says one woman interviewed insisted that Dems were intent upon erasing God from the country and killing Jesus. She was steadfast in her thinking. Scary. Right. Yeah, I'm not saying that Trumpers aren't, scary. Hunter Z, freedom. Ross Cobman, there you go. Say anything against the left-wing establishment and you're a fascist. Right. Exactly. So I don't know, to go back to what Hugh was saying at the beginning of the video, like, are we going to see a right-wing military coup? Is that going to happen? Is that really going to happen? Or are we going to see a left-wing, I don't know what you'd call it, cultural / legislative coup? Cultural tech / tech / I don't know, more of like a Big Brother sleight of hand type coup. I don't know. Somebody also said, when somebody was talking about social media censoring, they were like, yeah, Russia censors their social media too. Oh, wait. So does China. Hunter Z says military did operations in Flint after Obama pretended to drink their water. Coincidence? Okay. I don't know what military operations you're talking about. I'm not sure. Hunter Z says, Lord, Hugh, our dumbass says it better. Just because you agree with him, he says it better? Okay. Okie dokie. 7 days from now, we will know. Well, weren't they saying January 17th? Hunter Z, wasn't Hugh saying December, January, whatever date it is. Wasn't he saying January 17th? Anyways, we've got literally 7 days till the inauguration. So it either is going to be the wildest week yet, or I don't know. Rich Gianna says the empire is collapsing during a climate crisis. Solutions will be hard to come by. Yeah. Basil says get your affairs in order. Nicholas Miller says the latter, Kevin. You're talking about the left wing, the Big Brother coup? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, the dude says it appears to be two choices: ultra-right white nationalist takeover, or big tech bureaucratic corporate fascism. Well, which one is already here? That's what I want to ask you. Which one's already here? I'll tell you that the latter is already here. The latter is already here. Who is president? Who are in Congress right now trying to impeach the president and trying to get a bunch of congressmen out of office? Meanwhile, they're censoring all kinds of accounts, taking down all kinds of accounts, censoring platforms off of social media. Which one is already here and which one is still a specter of possibility? Let me know. Both are already here? Salt Lakers, I can't really distinguish between the left and the right wing. Yeah. Poppy Davis says war on Iran in the next 7 days. That would really, really suck. I would have to say that would be the worst thing. That would be the worst thing. I don't believe it. I don't believe it, but that would be really terrible. Realize says Ilan Omar says her role models are Margaret Thatcher and Madeleine Albright. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. About run out of time. Hunter Z, thank you so much for your super chat. Kevin, one tiny complaint. The pronunciation of Z is so wrong. I'm from New Zealand. I'm an NZ. Oh, Hunter Z. Okay. Bro, okay. Sorry about that, Hunter Z. Well, you know how the Americans do it. I prefer the Z myself. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. I'll be back tomorrow at the regular time of 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time until... Well, hold on. Let me say hi to my Rockfinners for a second. Osama is on Rockfin. Snake 1974 is on Rockfin for the Biosphere. Poppy Davis. Thank you guys for hanging with me. You guys are super cool. All right, guys. Until tomorrow, peace.